the Bears of Pack 33. You're watching Takoma Park City TV.
Feel pretty good?
Yes.
Now.
This is Gear Up Takoma Day, and it's an opportunity for kids to come down and ride a bicycle course to make sure that they're good at handling a bicycle.
May is Bike Month, so Takoma Park Police and Safe Routes to School decided to do a joint event to get people out, bring their bikes out, dust them off, clean them up, get them ready for May Bike Month and for the rest of the summer.
So Gear Up Takoma has different parts of it. One is obviously the main thing is the obstacle course where kids and adults as well can learn how to fit a helmet correctly and ride through an obstacle course that teaches them how to control a bicycle. Riding through a straight line, weaving in and out through cones, stopping at a crosswalk, and a lot of people don't know this, you have to get off your bike and walk your bike across in a crosswalk. Things like that, just, like I said, to raise awareness.
Okay, so basically I checked out all the BMX bikes for the kids, make sure everything's in working order and that they're safe to ride. There's adequate pressure in the tires, the chains are adjusted properly, and the brakes work properly.
Bikes for the World is the country's largest bicycle recycler reuse group that ships bikes to developing countries, about 12 different programs around the world, mainly in Africa and Latin America and the Caribbean. We ship about 10,000 bikes every year, and they're all donated by people mainly in the greater Washington, D.C. area. We have bike collections every weekend throughout the year, except when it's really cold or really hot. There are 4 or 5 collections every weekend usually, and we just collect bikes like this. People bring them in, local people. There's usually some associated with, like this one, the town, or a church or a school, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, etc. And we process them a little bit. We make them flat, a little flatter. We take off the pedals and do a little bit of work, and they go to one of our storage sites, either in which are at the moment in Lorton and up in Shady Grove. We then ship them in big shipping containers. We get about 500 bikes in a container, and they go off to our partners to be fixed, sold at low price, to employ bike mechanics and to help people get around in our partner countries.
Today's our third drug turn-in program we've had in coordination with the Drug Enforcement Administration here in Takoma Park. The first two were very successful. Today's already been very successful with a lot of prescription drugs being turned in. We've coordinated it with the kids event so parents could come here, bring their kids and drop off their drugs to the turn-in program. This program's been very successful nationwide. A lot of people keep prescription drugs in their medicine cabinets, underneath in their medicine cabinets, and it's time to turn them in because kids can get there, get them, and people can OD, and we don't want that to happen. So this is a great program, and Takoma Park has really participated well in it.
Make your car hard to steal. That's what the Takoma Park Police Department and the Maryland, D.C. Anti-Theft Committee want to help you to do. They're doing this by sponsoring the VIN etching event in association with the Watch Your Car program.
We're doing the VIN etching today, and we're also doing the Watch Your Car program. Both are aimed at reducing the chances of auto thefts. When a citizen pulls up, it doesn't have to be a citizen of Takoma Park. It can be from any jurisdiction. It's a free service. They come up, we just verify their registration, make sure that it checks out okay, and then we go ahead and print out their information onto adhesive, adhere it to the window, and it's a simple, 5-10 minute process, and then they can be on their way.
Would you actually recommend others take part in the program?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, why not? It doesn't, do anything to the appearance of your vehicle. You've already got little etches in the windows anyway from the manufacturer that you don't notice, but anything you can do to, deter thieves stealing your car or, that sort of thing, I think is a great idea.
I had some knowledge of it because I had done it to my car about 6 months ago when they had the program before, and it was such a simple process that I decided to have my husband's car done today.
We typically do these periodically, like every quarter or every 6 months or so, especially if we see that more and more people are coming to them and then there's a need for it, then we'll continue to do more.
It's been very pleasant and quick also. I expected more people to be here because I figured more people would want to get their cars etched. I would recommend it to other members of the community. Yeah, sure. I've had cars stolen before, and anything you can do to prevent that is good.
We just explained to them that the chances of their car being stolen now are decreased by having this done, and they appreciate that. They look forward to having a more secure vehicle and that sort of thing. And this is something that the VIN etching and the Watch Your Car program can do.
The club was started several years ago. The idea was an idea by a middle school student who's now in high school named Alana Natanson. She wanted to start a book club where she'd be reading some really interesting and good books, challenging books, and she had the idea of maybe we should read some books that people have tried to ban, because many of them are classics, like the Huck Finn, the one we're doing tonight, Catch 22, even King Lear by Shakespeare, things like that. These are all books that people have tried to ban and keep out of libraries. Not ours, but other places.
The Strongsville City Board of Education rejected faculty recommendations to purchase Joseph Heller's Catch-22 and Kurt Vonnegut's God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, and ordered the removal of Catch-22 and Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle from the library. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit ruled against the school board.
I thought it was important that we recognize the intellectual freedom issue, especially in Takoma Park, which is not a center for intellectual freedom infringement, but it was definitely important to recognize how intellectual freedom rights have been infringed in other places, and I thought Takoma Park would be a valuable place to focus on that. We're doing Catch-22 tonight, so it should be exciting.
It was banned in 3 places that I know of. Probably the biggest challenge came in Ohio, where the city of Strongville, Ohio, the city council did not want the schools to purchase copies of Catch-22. They didn't think it was appropriate for high school students. And that case went all the way up to the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, which ruled that the faculty had the right to purchase those books. Otherwise, it would be limiting freedom of expression for students. We're doing an intergenerational meeting because the Friends of the Library's reading group, which is all adults, just happened by coincidence to pick Catch-22 as their January discussion book. We had already picked it as our January discussion book, unbeknownst to each other. We're both reading the same book, so we thought, well, let's have a meeting of grown-ups and kids to discuss it.
Got a lot of content in there that is controversial, which is a bad thing, which we don't agree it should be censored, but it definitely makes for a good conversation, and it should be exciting to talk with the grown-ups.
Reading things that are not generally read, but through different perspectives, of reading them for why they've been banned, as well as reading them because they're great books, and often classic literature.
It can vary based on the book, how wide the discussion ranges, and I think it took the level of discussion to different heights. It was good to hear, especially perspective, for us, especially for a war novel, people who actually experienced the time period. You can't get that when it's just our own group.
For us growing up at the time we did, it was a really strange book, and some really changed our thinking sometimes.
I was really eager to hear what they would have to say, and I felt a little embarrassed because I thought the adults, for the first half of the discussion, were dominating. And I think in the second half, the kids found their voice, the adolescents, and it was really gratifying to see the mixture. And we were asking questions of them, and finally they were asking questions of us, and I felt better at that point. It was really wonderful to have a mix of ages in the room, and I was aware of how my age prejudices sometimes get the better of me.
I read this book, in the 70s. In high school, and I just reread it just now, and I remembered a lot of it. I really did. It just sticks with you. I think because there's so many different pieces that pull it, different ways.
So the artist in this show is Harry Stone, and we found Harry Stone through a friend of a friend, and when we met Harry, I went to his Silver Spring house and his studio in the basement, and he had about 70 really good paintings, and I was really, really excited because he had never exhibited his work before. But as soon as I saw it, I knew that it was a really full body of work.
This is the first show I've had. This is the first time anybody's seen my work. I have a whole collection of canvases that I've done, and I hang them in my house. People love them, but other than that, nobody's seen them outside of that till now.
I love the exhibit, very modernist, very cubist. I love the colors especially. I think he uses the colors to really bring out the main figures in his artwork, and I especially like the way he incorporates text.
I really enjoy working with artists, and I love working with artists who have something to say. And I would just like to see him get out there.
Harry's my neighbor, and knowing the kind of person he is, I was actually a little bit surprised to see how abstract his artistic thinking is. It's very cool.
I have quite a few influences. I like abstract expressionism. I like Picasso. Just about any painter I've studied on my own. So I kind of like them all.
I think it's neat also how Harry Stone. Well, he takes something that's already in the media, that's already out there. He takes it and he reappropriates it. So he takes a quote, he turns it on its head, and he says it a different way, and he comments on our society. Like he said about Luke Skywalker, he takes Luke, I am your father, and he takes that quote and he says, Luke, I am your father, now can I sleep in your basement? And Harry told me that was commenting on, how bad our economy is now and how many of us at this age are now helping to take care of the elder generation.
When I was 5, my father bought me an oil paint set, and we sat down at the kitchen table and he taught me how to paint a mountain with a house on top, and been painting ever since, really.
This feels like it just flows out of him. So Harry Stone is one of the artists that I'm really excited about that has come to the Takoma Park galleries. He's one of my favorites.
I call it feather art, just simple. I started, maybe it's like 20 years ago, I started to do it. I graduated fine art. I actually was trained in Russia like a fine artist, but then once I saw the bunch of beautiful feathers, and they were supposed to, throw them away, and I just decided to keep them and do something. So I played with the feathers. It was feathers, and just step by step I figured out how to do that. I taught myself actually practically, because I usually worked with oil paints, and I do oil paintings. But and this is the result after 20 years. I just feel the feathers. I just take a piece and I know where to put it and how it's. But sometimes I just play with them, and before I glue them, I just play with them. In the kindergarten, I always was prized that my pieces were the best, and I said, oh, I must be a good artist. I thought was I 5 years old or something like that. The feathers sometimes don't obey you, and they just don't want to glue or to swirl the way you want to. But it's a very interesting technique, actually, and also it's very therapeutic, I would say, because I have students. I teach classes, and they told me that it's very therapeutic.
I teach 11 through 14-year-olds because that was when I had after-school classes by an artist in my neighborhood growing up over in Bethesda. I started teaching at the Corcoran in 1982, and I've taught drawing, painting, collage, portfolio development for 21 years at the Corcoran, and then 6 years here at the Community Center in Takoma Park. My drawings are usually made out of charcoal or pastel, and then if I paint out of wax. I use something called encaustic, which is a wax-based paint, but I usually mix it together with found materials, three-dimensional objects, things from the three-dimensional world.
I've done art for a really long time, like as long as I can remember, because I love art. I like to paint in watercolors and acrylic paint. It's a really good class, and I've learned a lot. I want to become better at drawing and like making it look really realistic.
I want to make my artwork appealing and enjoyable to look at. I've been doing it for a long time, but I started like taking after school like this year. I like colorfuls. Colors are fun and they intrigue people, like kind of like this one, but I just like colorful artwork.
It's wonderful to see children develop a voice. Many of them are people who don't necessarily talk in the classroom, don't necessarily feel confident in other areas of their life, but they come into the art room. First thing they find is that they have a skill and an ability, and the second thing is that they're excited because they can say things through visual media that they haven't been able to express other ways. And then they start to become talkative in the classroom, and kids who were shy and not very confident get all excited, and that's really fun to be around.
I like how I can create the object in front of me as sort of what I think of it, and I like using all of the different colors that maybe aren't the real version to express what it really is too. I like pastels because I just think they're easier than watercolor and other watery types of art form.
I really like art because it's fun and it's nice to paint, and I want to go to the VAC in high school. I drew when I was really little, but it wasn't very nice, and then I really started getting interested in art in like 5th grade.
Teaching certain students, they're very self-critical, and I try to encourage them to accept that this one picture isn't the last picture you're going to make, and that they can, if they step back, see how much better they've gotten over time. It's been a real pleasure to work with all of the Takoma Park students. They've brought a lot of energy and enthusiasm and creativity to the work that goes on in the art room downstairs, and it's just been a real pleasure.
Recently, Boy Scouts Pack 33 came to Takoma Park City TV to learn how to edit videos, handle the camera, and use the control room. In return, they shared us a little bit about being a Boy Scout.
We're the Bears of Pack 33! You're watching Takoma Park City TV!
We've been around since 1939, and we've been part of the community, and the community's been part of our pack since then. We're here today at Takoma Park City TV to teach our Cub Scouts a little bit about some of the great assets that we have here in our community, and a little bit about some of the stuff that they might want to learn to help them in their careers. Cub Scouts is all about helping boys find the different types of things that they want to do, the things that they're interested in, and creating opportunities for doing something with that. So here at Takoma Park City TV, you have this really great opportunity to get super hands-on activities with the actual equipment. I mean, they're using Final Cut Pro, the same stuff that they'd be using in a TV studio anywhere in the world to produce the same sort of footage. They're getting to operate some of the top-of-the-line equipment, and they're getting to see the results of their actions right at the end of the day.
Hello. What? Hello. Hello. What do you think of Takoma Park?
Takoma Park is really nice.
I like the schools. They're good schools, and there's a lot of places to go and have fun.
Pretty much everything. I mean, we do some pretty cool stuff here. It couldn't really be improved much.
Is there anything you like especially?
I pretty much like everything.
It's better than the old one. It's kind of quiet. Lots of plants and birds.
It's a nice town and it's not too busy, so you can get around easily. Well, I'm gonna be like a Weeblo 1, then a Weeblo 2. Then I'm probably gonna go through Boy Scouts until like I'm done with Eagle Scouts, which is like the highest.
There's special events that I really enjoy, the Pinewood Derby, and this time we're going to Camp Ross for spring camping. You go from tiger to wolf to bear to Weeblo and to Weeblo 1 to Weeblo 2, and then you're a patrol in the Boy Scouts.
It's really fun. You get to, like, the funnest things are either the soapbox derby, where you get to shoot older kids with squirt guns, or camping trips. Those are also really fun. But those are probably the best things about Cub Scouts. I liked filming my friends, and I thought it was nice to work the cameras, and it was really cool, like all the controls.
Well, I just started, like, I'm a tiger, and tiger is like the lowest.
I thought this was a fantastic event. Really enjoyed it. I think the kids got a lot out of the experience of seeing them be filmed at the basketball game, and then outside getting a chance themselves to film, and then to see it all come together into some short film clips. I mean, I think it was just really informative for the fact that you can take something like pictures or film and do something so meaningful with it.
What do you like about filming?
Pretty much everything.
Do you like operating the camera very much? Yes, I love that. Why? Because you get to make the people look really funny, and you get to take shots and zoom in and out, and I don't know, I just like it. What's your favorite part about Takoma Park? I don't know, I've only lived here for a year and a half. Bye. Bye. It was really fun filming people outside and getting interviewed and going in the control room.
Maybe in another year, as they get older and more mature and how they can handle the cameras and things like that, I think they would get a lot out of doing it again. And I think certainly the other dens would get a lot out of doing it.
So this has been a really great trip. It's great for the boys. I like to think it's great for the city because it helps connect our kids with the community and the community with our kids.
Basketball is my favorite sport. I love the way they dribble up and down the court. Those are the words of the great poet Curtis Blow. And in Takoma Park, they're proving that basketball is one of their favorite sports too. How long have you been playing basketball?
Since 4th grade.
How much do you like basketball?
It's amazing. Baseball's still better. Yeah.
How's this Takoma Park basketball league been going?
It's good. I play at a really good team, so I'm obviously not one of the best players, but it's fun.
How long have you been playing basketball?
4 or 5 years. I really like basketball. It's one of my favorite sports.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you think you are?
10.
10? How do you like the Takoma Park Basketball League?
I think it's really good. I like how you get to play a lot of games during the season. I like playing with my friends.
About 3-4 years.
How much do you like basketball?
It's one of my top 3 favorite sports.
What are the other two?
Probably soccer and I like lacrosse. I don't really like playing it, but it's fun to watch.
Have you played in the Takoma Park Basketball League before?
Yeah. All of the years that I've played basketball, it's been in Takoma, so I love it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. Will you play again?
Yeah.
How long have you been playing basketball?
Since about like kindergarten or something like that.
Yeah. How much do you like basketball?
I love it. It's really fun.
Have you played in the Takoma Park Basketball League before?
I have. I've been playing for 3 years, 4 years. I like it a lot. I think it's really organized and it's gotten better as it's gotten.
Yeah. You think you may play again?
Yeah, definitely next year.
My name is Herb White. And what color team are you coaching?
I coach the black team. We didn't actually come up with a name, but we're just Team Herb White on the schedule.
How long have you been coaching?
This is actually my first year coaching in Takoma Park League, but prior to this I did a lot of work with youth and tree climbing. I'm an arborist by trade.
And how much do you love coaching?
I love coaching. It's very rewarding. I go home, talk to my friends all the time about how great the kids are. They're surprising in what they know, what they do. Sometimes they grow a lot from practice on Thursday to the game on Saturday.
How has the Takoma Park League in general been for you? How's the experience been?
It's been a pretty good experience. For the most part, it's well organized. There's a great group of parents and children. So it's been a positive experience. The facilities here are nice. Floors always clean. Balls nice.
You think you would do it again, coach?
Oh, certainly. I'm going to coach next year basketball. I hope to get my feet wet in soccer or something. So it was a great experience. I recommend it.
What's your name?
David Grover.
Yeah. How long have you been coaching?
6 or 7 years.
Have you coached with the Takoma Park League before?
Yeah, this is since the Hoops League got started, we've had these boys on the team in here. And now it helps the girls too.
How's it been for you?
Well, it's great. It's so convenient. It's right here, and the spirit from the league is great. Refereeing is always good. Instruction for refereeing I like. It's good. Well,
you think you may coach again?
Oh yeah, I got my son's got a few more years, and I got a little girl who's just getting started. So.
What's your name?
Gina McNeil.
Yeah. And how long has your son been playing in the Takoma Park Basketball League?
I think probably about 3 or 4 years now since it started. And we're really happy about having a league right here at Takoma Park.
Over those 3 or 4 years, how has he developed?
Oh, I think he's become a much better basketball player. And just having even just one practice a week in one game makes a huge difference. And he's become very passionate about basketball also.
And do you think you'll let him play again next year?
Oh, I think he's going to be begging to play again next year. He loves it, and we're lucky to have a great coach, too.